Hi, hello, I'm Sam Harrison. I read, review and discuss fantasy and science fiction books, and today it's the Friday show. So, I want to say been a while. Did we skip 2 Friday shows in a row? Last week, I had intended to film the Friday show out in the woods when I was on holiday, out in a lovely little cabin. Lovely little cabin. I was at Center Parcs. British people will know what that is. American people, it's kind of like a fancy caravan holiday. Oh, you guys probably don't even have those. So basically, you go to like a house in the woods, and there's like a swimming pool and loads of activities and loads of trails through the forest, and there's like thousands of houses all on this like village thing. Basically, it's kind of like getting a bit of like peace and quiet away from the hustle and bustle of the city, or even the like town that we live in, and out to somewhere that's a bit more, it's like time in nature. There's like deer everywhere and squirrels and ducks and stuff. It was really cool, really cute. I really enjoyed the time there. I took my daughter for a lot of walks because she has trouble napping in unfamiliar places. So we took her on walks, and she had naps in the pram. And that's a stroller for Americans. I'll remember that. Yeah, so we took her out in the pram, and it's like she was having like a 1 to 2 hour nap. So most of those 1 to 2 hour periods, I was listening to audiobooks. The main audiobooks. On the Friday show, we do a few things. So we talk about what I've been reading, what I'm going to read next. And then we also talk about other stuff like games, TV, movies, etc. So while I was on holiday, I was listening to audiobooks. But I was also comboing that a little bit with podcasts. We'll talk about a little bit about why later. So the audiobook that I was listening to was Knife of Dreams by Robert Jordan. I've listened to quite a bit since I paused at this point in the book. So I'm like 5 or 6 chapters in now, I think, a couple of 100 pages. I had a lot of time where I could have read this week. A lot of the time this week, I chose to do something else. Again, we'll talk about that later. But I still have like 600 pages of this bad boy left. Most of the time when I'm reading Wheel of Time, especially because I'm kind of using the audiobook and the ebooks and the physical novel, I end up reading around 100 pages a day, which is about half or a third of what I read for like some authors like Sanderson, but like putting that aside. So yeah, with Wheel of Time, I read about 100 pages a day, and I think I've probably read 100 pages this week. And that includes the fact that I had a ton of audio time on the weekend. Again, I didn't use all of that for audiobooks. I'm about to go out and do a ton of chores because it's Good Friday. So Good Friday in the UK is a national holiday, so nobody works. I say nobody. A lot of people who work like office 9 to 5s don't work. And things like shops have short hours and all that sort of stuff. But I've got a ton of jobs to do today, which is classic bank holiday dad fare. So it's bank holiday, so that means dad's got to go to do the shopping and got to go to the tip, got to do the recycling and all this sort of stuff. So lots of audio time today. So I'm hoping to pass maybe the 300 point even before I hit the evening, which is when my chunk of reading time usually is. If I do get to that 300 point, I might not read tonight either. I might do the thing that I'm going to talk about a little bit later. I'm sure we're past page 200 by now. Let's look at the contents. I think... Oh no, we're not at 200 yet. We're only about 160. So maybe I won't get to 200 tonight. By tonight, and I will do some... I'll try and like carve out an hour to read tonight. That would be a nice thing to do. So, Knife of Dreams has been really good so far. Knife of Dreams has not felt mired in catch up. So one of the big issues that I have had with the slog, and I say big issues, it's been extremely minor, and I have still enjoyed all 3 books that are the slog. But the problem that I have found with the slog books is that you spend a lot of the books just kind of checking in on people. But what Jordan has done here is that he hasn't used the same structure as last time, where you check in with a character and then you get 4 chapters with that same character. So, for example, here we've had like every single chapter has been a new POV. There's been multiple POVs in the prologue, and all of the POVs are building on things that I found interesting and exciting during the slog books. So I don't want to go too deep into the weeds, but chapters with Forsaken POVs, chapters with Blackadder character POVs, and that's where we're just starting. Let alone, I don't think we've had. I know we have. Well, I was going to say I don't think we've had a major character POV, but we've had an Egwene POV. And the Egwene stuff was the big cliffhanger from the previous book. So that's what I wanted to know was going on anyway. So being in that has been really good. The next few chapters, I'm hoping to get some time with Rand. I feel like we didn't see him last book, or we saw him very little. It feels like a really long time since I've read a Rand POV. So yeah, looking forward to getting back to some of our main cast. I'd like to see some more Rand. I'd like to see some more Matt. And I'm interested to see if maybe we hear some more about Soul Harbor, I think it was called, from the previous book, which was like my favourite chapter of that book. And it basically redeemed that book from being like not sure about this one, to it's had some promising sections. Jordan is really, really good at writing horror, or like horror adjacent stuff, and it's mad that he's not done more of it across these books. Most of these books are really like standard fantasy, and I wish that he would do a bit more of this, of the like horror tinge stuff. So what am I going to read if I finish it? So I don't know if I'll finish this next week. If I do, my plan is to move straight onto Mushroom Blues. So this is by Adrian Gibson. This is a book that I promised. I said to Philip Chase that I would do a read along with him, and then we would discuss it on either his channel or mine. And I would like to do. I'd like to make sure that I read this soon, because it's been like 3 months since we talked about it, and I know he's got a fully stacked schedule of One Piece and like 70 other read-alongs, but because I said I would do it, I would like to get it out of the way, and also the finalists will be chosen soon for SPFBO. I'm kind of curious to see whether I think Mushroom Blues is better than the book that I put forward to Philip, which is Soul Stealer by Elle McInerney, which I genuinely really loved. And I think it ended up making my top 10 last year. But let's move on. So, what am I reading next would be Mushroom Blues. And after that, I'm going to go back to The Wandering Inn and finish Volume 2. So one of the big things that I've been focusing on this month in this month of April is I've been focusing on experiences that on books that have good audio experiences. So we tried Dungeon Crawler Carl, review for that coming on Monday. When am I going to have time to record that? Have to be Sunday night, because I don't have time to record it today now because I spent too much time on other bits. But yeah, so yeah, Dungeon Crawler Carl review will be coming out on Monday. So I'm hoping to finish Knife of Dreams, which will come out the week after. Then once I finish Knife of Dreams, Matt and I will do our spoiler cast. We're kind of moving into video stuff now. So after I talk about things that I've read and reading, I also talk about the videos that I've made and I'm gonna make. So I did the Lux review. I ended up having to shift all of my videos this week because I was still on holiday on Monday, so I couldn't shoot anything. And then when I got home from that holiday in the evening, I was just exhausted and was like, I'm not going to be like firing on all cylinders to be able to shoot this video. And then on Tuesday was my first day back at work, and unfortunately, the new person they've hired to take a chunk away from my role so I can focus on the more important stuff. She had booked holiday, so she's away for the next 2 weeks. And my boss is also away because it's school holidays and she's got kids at home. So yeah, I was back to being the only person in the department. And when I finished that work day, I was like, I don't want to look at a screen, even if it is, like for my fun creative time to make a video. I'm pointing at my desk, which is why I'm doing that. So yeah, I didn't want to make a video. I didn't want to sit at my desk. So I was like, do you know what? Cancel it. I will shoot this video another day. And then on Wednesday, because I'd managed to do so much on Tuesday and I'd kind of gotten ahead of myself, I had time to shoot both the Wednesday and the Thursday video on Wednesday. And the Wednesday video, as you probably may have seen, was a very, very light touch edit. So it was literally chop the beginning, chop the end, add the end credits on, and that was it. So yeah, I managed to do both my Monday and my Wednesday videos on Wednesday, and I released them Wednesday and Thursday. I know that I have said in the past that my rule for this year was if I don't have the time to get a video out, I won't. But I was like, well, I feel like I owe you guys the video, seeing that, we've missed quite a few recently because I've been too tired or too busy. I just kind of thought to myself, actually, it just makes sense if I've got these videos, I shouldn't save them for next Monday and Wednesday because they're a Monday and a Wednesday slot video. I was like, I'll just put them out Wednesday and Thursday. So I hope you guys enjoyed those videos. Nobody has watched the series check-in video, which is really weird because normally those are really popular. The last two that I have done did really well. But yeah, nobody's watching that one. So if you haven't watched it yet, it's kind of a whistle-stop tour by me of all the series that I'm reading and what I think about them. And the ones that I have decided to DNF as well. So please do have a read through and let me know what you think. Read through, watch through. And I even put timestamps in. People always moan at me that I don't have timestamps, and I put timestamps in and nobody is watching it. So what that tells me? Stop putting timestamps in. So yeah, next week's videos, we've already talked about it. So it's going to be Dungeon Crawler Carl on Monday. Wednesday. So Wednesday would probably be a decent time for me to start thinking about the next month TBR. But I think that after a bit of a test and trying to do TBRs 2 months in a row and failing 2 months in a row, I think I might just stop doing TBRs again. I feel like if you watch the Friday show, you know what I'm going to be reading in the near future, so you can kind of read along with me if you want to. Most people know that I have one major series at a time, which currently is Wheel of Time, and will after Wheel of Time be Malazan, Book of the Fallen. So I feel like people kind of know what's going on the channel, so maybe the TBR videos, while they do fill a slot in the schedule, I don't feel like they're actually that worthwhile. Maybe the final video, no, it should always be that. I was going to say the first Wednesday video of every month is most likely always going to be the previous month's wrap up. I didn't do a March wrap up in early April because I really only read like 1.5 books. So it didn't really make sense to me to do a monthly wrap up. It just kind of felt like a waste of time. Like I haven't bought any books. I did get the same rough amount of YouTube videos and subs that I normally get. Nothing really to write home about. And I basically looked at it and was like, can I stretch talking about 1.5 books, of which I have already reviewed this book, the one book that I finished, the book I've already reviewed it, and I've done a spoiler cast for the other one that I fully finished. That was like I finished half of it at the beginning of the month. So I was like, honestly, it just does not make sense, I don't think, to do a video like that. So I'm not going to do it. And I decided I will be doing an April one because I've read quite a bit. I think I've already read... this is my third book of April, and we're in week 3, I think, now, actually. So like a book a week is my like goal. So I won't get that now because this book will take me longer than that. But books like Dungeon Crawler Carl, for example, was quite quick because I listened to that mostly on walks and runs and had a really great time with it. So yeah, I don't know what I'm doing next Wednesday, actually, because like I was saying, next Wednesday might have been a decent time for me to think about May TBRs, but as we're not probably going to do a TBR anymore, maybe we'll have to think of something else. Next month is my birthday as well, so probably do something special for that. It's going to be a Friday, so it will be a Friday show. Maybe we'll do it live. Who'd be interested in a live birthday party video, I guess? Because I'll be going to see friends the next day, because if everyone else is working a full day, I don't want to be like, after work, come hang out with me. I'd rather be like, let's hang out Saturday afternoon, you know? Anyway, so what else are we running through? Let's talk a little bit about my kind of the obsession that has kind of stolen my reading time this week, which is a video game called Blueprints. So Blueprints is there's a space there, blue space prints, not like prints like print shop, like prints like king, queen, prince. So Blueprints is a roguelike puzzle game where you are placing rooms on a grid house to try and get from one side of the house to the other and kind of solve all the mysteries and puzzles around the house. And there's multiple layers upon layers of mystery. So there's kind of the opening, like, this is the thing that you're trying to do, which is you're trying to get from one side to the other. Which I did finish that this morning, finally. I saw credits and I unlocked the final room. But there's tons more to do after the credits. And there's also multiple other layers of gameplay and story. So there's like a whole story going on in the background that's told through things like notes and letters and diary clippings and things like that. Newspaper clippings, tons of newspaper clippings. That is all about it's kind of laying out this really interesting story, which I really liked. And I'm really looking forward to kind of getting to know more of what's going on. There's like tons of videos of people doing like the Charlie Day, Pepe Sylvia red line corkboard thing, with like the family tree of everyone in this family that lived in the house, and then the like political situation that's going on in the country, and like the children's books that are spread around the house and stuff. Like, there's so much going on, there's so many layers, and it's been something that I've been genuinely obsessed with. And it's really interesting because even though there's very little dialogue, there is some reading, obviously. I say very little dialogue, there's almost no dialogue. There's very little reading, but because your mind is so engaged, it's a really bad audiobook game, despite there being no dialogue. So yeah, I've not been able to listen to any audio while playing it, which I kind of assumed I would be able to, because there's no... The plot is very background to the puzzles, but the puzzles then inform the plot, and the plot informs the puzzles, and it's a really, really good game. A lot of people are saying it's a very clear, like, top 10 all-time video game, and I don't know if I'm there yet, but the people who are saying that have said that they're like 100 hours in, and I'm like maybe 12 to 15. Really enjoying the game so far. Even though I passed the credits today, now I'm going to be on the hunt to put tons more time into the extra secrets that the game holds, and my interest has not wavered in any way, shape or form. Next week, I think, yeah, it is next week. Next week we're getting a new game on Game Pass, which is a French RPG. I've been calling it a JRPG for Huibs, which I think is very funny. Someone else made that joke online, and it did well. Anyway, so Clair Obscura is out, and I really have been looking forward to playing that. I don't know how I will vibe with it. I often don't vibe with Western-made JRPGs. I feel like they just kind of don't 100% get it, and they're like, we need to make it our own. And you're like, well, I actually don't think you do. I think the format is still brilliant. Like, all the Trails games are still really, really good. They're still some of my favorite games ever made. And those games, like, I played them a couple of years ago when several of them had come out like 10 years ago. So if that gives you any sort of that shows you how well those games hold up and that genre holds up. So I don't think it's like with there are certain kinds of games where I do feel like you putting your own stamp on it, making it original, makes sense. But I often find that Western developers trying to put their stamp on JRPGs often don't get it. The team behind Clair Obscur does seem like they maybe do get it, though. So I'm holding out hope, and I'm going to sit down and play it when it comes out. Because it's going to be on Game Pass day one, so it's free. And that's probably it for video game stuff. I need to go back to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth before I forget how to play it. So that will be something I'll do soon. That will probably be a pretty decent audiobook game if I just spend my time doing like open world stuff and grinding levels and fighting bosses and stuff. The story in that game is kind of spread out in an interesting way, very much like a modern open world game, which is what it is. The other thing that I want to talk about very, very quickly, because I need to finish up this video and get to the tip, is Daredevil. So maybe we'll do a Daredevil discussion video. If anyone's watching this and you've watched Daredevil Born Again and you want to do a spoiler discussion, let me know. Maybe we'll do it for next Wednesday. Maybe I'll just do a spoiler video for Daredevil, just talking through my thoughts as a long-time Daredevil fan and a long-time Daredevil TV fan. I've been reading the Daredevil comics since the 90s, I think. My first ever American comic that I bought with my own money was a Daredevil comic. So the Daredevil is really like one of my favorite characters in comics. Is Daredevil second favorite to Spider-Man? Probably. His comics have been a lot more consistent, which is why I like Daredevil so much. And I find his character very interesting. I like how flawed he is as a character in ways that many other superheroes aren't. And I do think the show understands a lot of that. We'll come back to this. Actually, I think I want to make a video about it, even though this is a sci-fi and fantasy books channel. Daredevil is a comic book, right? Does that work? Can I talk about it? We'll find out if anyone wants to watch it next week. So that should probably be the time that we shut this shop down, and I will speak to you guys on Monday with that Dungeon Crawler Carl review. But if you have not liked this video, I would love it if you could give it a like to let YouTube know that you thought it was pretty good. And if you drop a comment down below, tell me what you're watching, reading, playing, eating. Talk to me about food. Let's chat. Hopefully you have a lovely holiday weekend and you're not working Friday to Monday, same as me. And subscribe to the channel, because I'd love to have you join my tight, lovely, small, cool community of super cool people. Thanks so much for watching. I'll speak to you on Monday. Happy Easter weekend.